Hello and welcome to another video by myself, Chris from Sorare on a Budget. Today's video is going to be looking at some low budget cards under the value of 0.03, which is about 70 quid on today's market. Now, the cards are going to be all rare cards in this particular video. They're sorted by position, so I have a group of defenders, a group of midfielders, and a group of forwards. They've all played and started their last 5 games. And these details and prices are correct as of 9 p.m. On the 13th of September. The market is fluid. Some of these prices may change. They could go up, could go down. But that's the information I've got as of right now. If you're new to Sorare and you are looking to join, you could use my link on the screen just now, which is also going to be in the description below, and that is www.sorareonabudget.com. Now, that will get you a free card when you buy 5 from the new card auctions, and you could then use that card to sell it, or you can use it in your weekly game weeks. So, without further ado, let's crack on. And I will go first of all to the defenders. Oh, no, I won't. First of all, I've got another little bit of shilling to do. I've been doing some kits for everybody within the Sorare community that's asked for them. They are available through my Twitter page, which is Sorare on a Budget. You can also email me at sorareonabudget@gmail.com if you so wish. The kits are a little bit of fun. You could use them on your Sorare profile. A lot of folk have been using them on Twitter as their profile picture on there. It's kind of cool when you go on and see everybody with the same sort of thing. You can email me for details or DM me for some information. They're available for 0.005 ETH, and you can pay by PayPal as well if that's preferred. So that's my current profile photo. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that daily when I'm posting my nonsense. So first of all, I'm going to look at the defenders. So I've got my pad beside me here, so I will be referring to it. So if I'm looking down quite a lot, that's what it is. I've not memorized the script or anything for these. So the way I've got it formatted, if you've watched some of my earlier videos, going back some months, you'll recognize the format that I've used in this. So what I've got is the player's name, their last 5, the last 15 averages, and the current lowest market price for that player. So I'm going to give you a little bit of detail about each player as I go. I will try and keep it brief. If you do want any more information, feel free to catch me on Twitter, like I say, at Sorare on a Budget. So the first player is Milton Casco. Now, he is the left back for River Plate. As you can see by his stats, the last 5 he's averaged 54, and the last 15 he's averaged 56, which is pretty solid. His price on the market just now, 0.029, which is quite cheap. It brings him in, certainly into the budget. Now, he's been an ever-present after the first 3 games of the season, which he missed. He's mainly played as a left back, but he has also played as left mid and 1 game at right back as well. So he is a player that's got a bit of versatility to him. Now, that would mean maybe slightly less chance of getting DNPs unless there's injuries, because he's clearly a utility player that can fit in, which is great when you're working on a budget and the last thing you want is a DNP. The next one there is Riku Matsuda of Sarasu Osaka. Now, he has had a couple of hundreds in the last couple of months. You may have seen him on Twitter where people comment, and especially during the Champions League, the Asian Champions League, he did have a couple of good performances in there as well. His last 5 sitting at 58, and the last 15 at 55. And priced on the market at 0.027. Now, some of the American and some of the J-League players, and indeed some of the K-League players, are a little bit cheaper just now because they're starting to come towards the last couple of months of their seasons, and a lot of folk have tried to move over to Europe. Now, that means that some of those prices will be slightly under market. However, a couple of months is a long time in Sorare. That's 8 to 10 game weeks. If you can get a few game weeks out of these players and then look to move them on, so you can trade up to trade on to something better, use the winnings that you may pick up in the Global All Stars Division 4 from the F. So there's different scope there for that. So if you do see some of these ones looking towards the end of their season, don't be scared by that. If you invest in them just now, you will have a resale value of them as well, and hopefully they can win you some prizes along the way, which will overall build up your overall budget. So he is a little bit of I wrote high risk beside him, but he's not really a high risk player as such. But I mean, he's either getting 35s or he's getting 60s, 70s. Or as I say, he's got a couple of 100 scores there as well. He is playing right back for them. So again, a chance to get forward and get assists and things like that there as well. The next one on the list is Julio Casante. He is a centre back from Austin. He has a last 5 of 55, last 15 of 52, 0.03. So he's one of the more expensive ones I've got on the list. However, he's played all of the last 15 games. Now, granted, a couple of those were substitutes, but the vast majority of them were starts. He has had a couple of low scores. However, one of those low scores is a 24 that will drop off after his next game, which means that average of 55 will go up if he has a half decent game, which when the average scores go up for the last 5, the price tends to go with that. Like I say, it's not even coming towards the end of the MLS season. You've still got quite some number of games to go there as well. So you get a fair bit of utility out of him, and for that price, isn't too bad. Now, looking in terms of utility and looking towards Europe, I've got a few European lads here as well. Now, they're all for the Challenger Europe, so there's a little bit more you could do with them there as well. So Michael Pinto, now in the transfer market and things like that, he shows up as Mika Pinto. Last 5 of 46, last 15 of 47, and a price of 0.028. Now, he did have a red card in his second to last game there. I couldn't find any information, but he then played the next game, so I'm suspecting that was rescinded. I couldn't find any information to say one way or the other, but that looks to have been the case. But that has impacted his last 5 score because he did lose 20 points for having been red carded. So he is a 100% starter for the season. So he's a left back for Sparta Rotterdam. Again, I've always found that the fullbacks tend to be some of the higher scoring ones. They can be high risk, high reward. Some of the centre backs can be just steady scorers. But I think for 0.028, a card that's just started the season, and you'll get plenty of utility for the rest of the year out of. The next one is, again, similar in terms of this one's from Russia. So Igor Sorokin, last 5 of 46, last 15 of 46. Now, he's actually the centre back for Krasnodar. He's been an ever present. He was a substitute tonight against Rostov. I hadn't actually double checked that before I recorded the video, but up until now, he has been an ever present. 0.022. Now, that's quite cheap for somebody that's, getting a regular game there. And again, not long started their season, so that's got quite a lot of utility going forward there as well. Now, the next 2 players are based in the Austrian Bundesliga. Now, you will notice a lot of the players from the Austrian leagues, their game show is cancelled now. I can't explain why that is, because the games are never cancelled. They just seem to open up during the particular game weeks. And I think that's had a knock-on effect, I think, with FC Sion in the Swiss League as well. So there is a bit of a price discrepancy when it comes to some of these Austrian lads, in that I think people think the games are cancelled and they haven't got any utility when they do. I may be wrong on that. It may just be that some of them are just cheaper. So the first one I've got on the list there is Maximilian Ullmann. Now I shortened it to Maxi just to keep the space together there. Last 5 of 50. Now there isn't full data for the last 15 because the Austrian leagues obviously only just started being scored, so there isn't a full set of data on it there. However, for the last 5 he scored 50 and his price is 0.03. Now he plays for Rapid Vienna. He does have some big variances in his scores. He had an 85 and then had a 25, so he is capable of a lot. But then he could have a bit of a mare as well. But an average of 50 for the last 5. So you can see he does have some very good scores there. And Rapid Vienna, a very solid team. Now, another player that I've got on the list here is from Altach. That's a team that I've kind of adopted in the Austrian League, is one that I'm going to follow for myself. Berkay Dabanelli. Last 5 of 46 and a price of 0.21. Now, he had a pretty good game for Altach yesterday against SV Riyadh. I followed that quite closely because I had players for both sides. He's been an ever-present, a consistent scorer, and he's another one similar to Casante. He has a 27 that's going to fall off after the next game. Now, that would probably, if he has a halfway decent game and scores 45 to 50, that average of 46 will then jump up by 4 or 5 points, which again could increase his value, towards the 0.03, the same as Ullman if he's on a 50. Now, that would be great because that would be something that, you'd see if almost a 50% profit on that, as well as a card that could potentially help you towards the E thresholds. So that's looking at the defenders. I'm going to switch over to the midfielders now. I have got a few European lads in here as well as some MLS and some J-League. I haven't put too many K-League players. I don't think I've actually put any K-League players into it. And that's not for any reason other than the fact that I haven't done enough research in the K-League to say. And also, they only have a few games left in their season. So the utility wouldn't be great there. So I've avoided that at the moment because if you're working on a budget, you're probably wanting players that are going to make an impact for you. So, and on, at least get, 6 to 8 games out of them as opposed to maybe getting 3 or 4 and then struggling to sell because their season's finished. So the first one I've got on the list here is, I'm going to butcher some of these names. That's something I usually do that in the videos, but we've got Kevin Van den Driesch, I believe. Last 5 of 45, last 15 of 49, and a price of 0.023. Now, he's at Kortrijk now. He's been an ever-present for them and playing every single game, which seems very low for a regular to me, 0.023. Somebody that's not going to do anything particularly spectacular, but if you're pulling in 45 to 50 points each week from him, and the weeks where he does score higher, then that would be great. I couldn't really see any particular reason other than his age. I think he's 32 as to why he would be quite as cheap as he is. However, the next one I've got on the list is Yoshiaki Komai. Now, he is from Consadole Sapporo, and he plays as a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder. He plays as one or the other. Last 5 of 55 and the last 15 of 51, and a price of 0.023 as well. Now, higher scoring, you tend to find players that play as an attacking midfielder do get a little bit of a better score than the defensive ones. However, floating between the two, he's still getting pretty good scores there. As I said, the J-League still has about 9 fixtures left in their season, so and Consadole aren't really in any danger, so there'll still be utility there next year. However, you could get a few games out of them and sell them before the end of the season, still get your money back, and hopefully have got yourself some ETH in the process from the thresholds. The next one is Ronaldo Prieto. Now, he is from Santos Laguna, 24 years old, kind of broken through into the team this year. Last 5 of 53 and a last 15 of 47, and a price of 0.025, and again, quite cheap. He has had one Team of the Week appearance in the Liga MX Team of the Week. So he has had some very good performances in there. Now, there has been a lot of injuries at Santos Laguna. As players have come back, though, he has kept his place. There may still be players to come back that may see that change. However, at that price point, there's a lot of utility there. Again, Liga MX not long started their season again, so you've got those opportunities to pick up players that will get a lot of utility. The next one there, I've got Shuto Abe. He is from FC Tokyo. Defensive midfielder, but he has scored 50 in the last 5 and 47 from the last 15. Again, priced at 0.027. He is an under 23 as well, so you've got a lot of utility out of him, whether you want to join the under 23 league, or if you want to use him in Champion Asia or indeed in the Global All Stars. So, 0.027, that's a very good price point for an under 23. The next one is the card that I've got on the right, and that's David Hubert from Zulte Waregem. Again, centre midfield, last 5 of 50 also, last 15 of 45, but priced at 0.025 for the cheapest one on the market. Now, full disclosure, I'm having a look at trying to pick one up because I think that's quite a good price. He did captain them in the last 2 games, and he's been an ever-present all season. So for, if you're just starting to build up a European team, or indeed even just a global team, that's not too bad of a pickup at that sort of a price point. you pick up 4 cards at 0.25, you've got an entire team together for less than around the 0.1 ETH mark. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad pickup at all. And similarly, we've got Ibrahima Cisse from RFC Sereng, centre mid, last 5 of 46 and the last 15 of 42, priced at 0.028. Now, he is younger. I believe he was only about, I'm going to put my foot in now, but I think he was only around 26, 27, 28 years old. The price on that one, I think, is quite cheap. Newly promoted side. They've not been doing badly. And again, you've got a full season's utility out of them. So yeah, 0.028, not a bad pickup. Now, the next one here, I found it a bit of an anomaly, to be honest. I've picked one up because of the price. But Jeffrey Sere Dia, along those lines, you can see it spelled on the screen if you want to look it up. Last 5 of 46. Now, he plays for FC Sion. So as I mentioned on the previous screen with the Defenders, that their game show is cancelled, and there was a problem in the last game week where they weren't added to the Challenger Europe until very, very late on. Now, his cards are sitting at 0.011. He is their captain. He is 36 years of age, but he is still also in the Ivory Coast international team. Now, he hasn't actually played. He's been in the squad and been on the bench. Hasn't played since I think it was last year around this time. I think it was last October against Japan. However, that is the price on that. I mean, 25 quid. What have you got to lose for a centre mid at 25 quid? Not an awful lot. I've got him sitting there as a spare now, so that if I have a problem with my midfielders, then I can slot him in. Like I say, he is their captain. He had a high score in one of the recent games, and that accounts as to why he is a little, his average was up to the 46, because it was most of his scores are around the 40 mark. But I think for that price point, yeah, he's 36, but the season's only just started, so you've got a full season's utility there, or somebody to sit there and hang on to, for the international weeks, or if you are struggling for a centre mid because of suspension, injuries, COVID, whatever the reason may be, then you could just slot them in. It's not a lot of money. I mean, some of the limited cards aren't that price, so it's a great utility, I think, on that one. So I'm going to switch over to the forwards. I've only got 3. The reason being, I was trying to keep them all under the 0.03. I struggled to have more than the 2, so I've got one that's a little bit higher, but I'll explain that when I look at them. So the first one I've got is the card on the right, and that is Yusuke Segawa from Kashiwa Reysol. He does play as a centre forward. Last 5 of 53 and the last 15 of 42. He's just come back from a long-term injury. He has played the last 10 games, but in his last 3 games, he's got 2 goals and an assist, which reflects in his 53 average there. He's sitting on the market just now at 0.03. Now, I'm actually thinking about seeing if I could pick one up for my global team for this week, or for the coming weekend, just as an extra body to decide whether I'm want to stick with my Austrian striker that had 3 big missed chances in 10 minutes at the weekend, or do I want to take a chance on Segawa here. Now, like I say, that it's a good price for a card, and I think coming back from long-term injury and coming towards the end of the year, but again, still got 9 games in the J League, so you could definitely get some utility out of him there. The next one is Yuya Kubo, and last 5 of 47, last 15 of 44. Plays for Cincinnati. Now, he's listed as a forward, but he actually plays centre mid. He's played centre mid all season for Cincinnati. He has had some solid scores, if unspectacular, but under 0.04 at least. And if you were able to pick him up and slot him into your team, he's going to get you a solid, 45 points, which from a forward isn't too bad. And would definitely be a help. The next one there, and the last one indeed, is another Maximiliano, and this was Maximiliano Coma. I think I've shortened it to Maxi just because of the name length. Last 5 of 49 and the last 15 of 45. 0.026. Now, he's actually on loan at Newell's Old Boys. Now, it's actually his old card, which is Gimnasia De Plata, I think the name is of the team. He's on loan. He's a right winger. He has played the last 6 games for them. And the first couple were just as a substitute, and now he's found himself a starting berth in the last few games there, and does seem to be a starter now. He did get an assist in I think it was the second to last game there. So yeah, I think getting again a forward that's starting and playing most of the games in at that price bracket is a pretty solid. I mean, 0.026. It seems a wee bit cheap. But again, it could just be some of these players that have moved club. People might just not necessarily notice that he is actually getting a game at the new team if you're just looking at the stats. So that's a bunch of players there to have a nosy at. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to my YouTube channel. If everybody that's watching this video could just give it a wee thumbs up and give the channel a subscribe, that would be great. If you're looking for, have you got any ideas for upcoming videos, maybe to look at some of the newer leagues that have been added, I can certainly look at doing that. I will be doing a limited player version of this type video tomorrow. I was hoping to do both tonight, but time's run away with me. As I say, if you're new to Sorare, you can sign up at www.sorareonabudget.com. That'll take you straight to the Sorare website, where you will be able to sign up and you'll be able to get a free card when you sign 5 cards from the new card auctions. And again, as I say, you can either sell that card or you can use it in your game weeks if it's something that fits your club. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sorare on a Budget. And yeah, that's me for now. And I will talk to you all again soon. And yeah, good luck in all your upcoming game weeks.